1969.
Bill
Moved
Pickard.
on to the high school and stayed there 32 years, assistant principal for 20 years, retired in 91. It's good to see you all.
My name is Gene Malisix. I was the art teacher at Edgewood. I believe I entered Edgewood about 1952, and I stayed there for about 14 years. Then I went to the high school, and that's about, I taught for 32 years.
Hi, my name is Keith Brown. I taught 5th grade at Edgewood under Pete Bailey from 1953 to 57. During those 4 years, I coached the basketball team a couple of those years and had Louis Dampier on my team. We had 2 undefeated seasons while I was coaching. They made me an administrator and kicked me out of Edgewood.
I'm Ray Alexander. I was there from 1955 to 1960 when he kicked me out also. Pete was a good administrator to follow. He's a good role model. Several of us received good instruction, good tutelage, and as we moved on through.
I'm Nancy Alexander. I was Nancy Abney when I first went to Edgewood. I worked in the office, and the one thing I'll never forget is all the money I had to count when we were selling Christmas cards. I was surrounded by money. I worked in the office until 58 and then stayed home. Came back in 73 and taught 3rd grade and until they closed the school in 80. It was a great time.
I'm Georgia Stevens, and I start teaching the day after Thanksgiving in 1950. All of a sudden they were getting art teachers, and I remember going to, and I didn't have an art room, I just had to stay in the hall. And then I remember when I was there for 20 years, and I remember Mr. Bailey asking me if I wanted 50 in room 13 or 18 in the hall. And I said I want 18 in the hall. And I enjoyed every minute. Mr. Bailey was great. His birthday was 2 days after mine, and I remember looking at a scrapbook, and he was playing ball someplace. I said, well, Mr. Bailey, I wasn't even born yet. He laughed. And then I went to Keystone Middle School for 15 years, so altogether I taught 35 years in Perry Township, and I taught 1 year in Gary, Indiana, and that was my first one. And I enjoyed every minute. In fact, my last year was one of my best. Thank you.
Jim Vance. I taught 6 years parochial school, and then I taught at Edgewood from 70 to 80. In 80, I went to Southport Elementary. In 96, I became energy manager until retired for good in 2007.
I'm Sue Meyer, and I taught music in the Firehouse Annex. There was not room for me in the school. And as long as Sharon was telling little-known tales, I'll tell you a couple too. I always called Mr. Bailey Papa Bear. And if you can kind of imagine the way he looked sometimes, a kid, Papa Bear was it. The other thing that I thought was great fun, when I think about it now, when I was in the Firehouse Annex, the sheriff would frequently come and park at the firehouse and probably for coffee, I don't know. And he left the engine running of his car. And one day it went out of gear and it came zooming past and hit my car and then pushed my car into Bill Morris's car. If you remember Bill, who taught band. So there was a 3-car accident and there wasn't a driver in any of the cars. So the accident report said driver first car in firehouse, probably having coffee. Driver of second car in Firehouse Annex teaching a class. Driver of the 3rd car in the Edgewood boiler room teaching band. That was great. I taught at Edgewood 9 years and went to Winchester Village, and then I finished up at Mary Bryan with Jim Wilson and Nancy Passwater, who had also been at Edgewood. Good bunch.
Hi,
I'm Guy Jackson, and I spent 4 really great years at Edgewood with one of these characters around here, and they did pull all kind of jokes. Had a great time, and we just really loved the kids in the classroom. That was where it was all at. Had some really fun times. Thank you.
I'm Vern Chandler. I taught 6th grade and a little bit of 7th grade when I first went to Edgewood in 1951. I was there for 19 years.